Hello viewers of Nagaland TV, I'm Rinki Gogoi and you're watching Nltv News now. First headlines. Nagaland Home Department issues helpline numbers to contact for stranded people in Ukraine. Advises family members or relatives to give details of any person who may be stranded in Ukraine from Nagaland and who wishes to be evacuated. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky says the next 24 hours to be crucial for the Russian invasion hit Ukraine. Ukrainian armed forces valiantly defending their country on 3 fronts from the overwhelming Russian invading forces. India abstains from a procedural vote taken in UN Security Council to call for a rare special emergency session of the UN General Assembly on Russia's aggression against Ukraine. However, New Delhi welcomes Moscow and Kyiv's decision to hold talks at the Belarus border. Field Operation Ganga flight carrying 249 evacuated Indians landed in New Delhi from Romania. The passengers praises the Indian embassy for the support provided in Kyiv and Romania. Polling for the first phase of Manipur Assembly elections underway for 38 constituencies spread across 5 districts. Meanwhile, State Election Commission informs that the voter turnout touches at 12% till 12 noon. Directorate General of Civil Aviation decides to extend the suspension of scheduled international commercial passenger services to and from India till further orders. This restriction shall not apply to international all-cargo operations and flights specifically provided by DGCA. Let's see more of the news in detail. Nagaland Home Department on Saturday issued helpline numbers to contact for stranded people in Ukraine. Family members of relatives have been advised to give details of any persons who may be stranded in Ukraine from Nagaland and who wishes to be evacuated. For necessary support and facilitation, one can contact State Emergency Operations Center, Nagaland State Disaster Management Authority, Home Department at 037022911122 or 22911120 and can send a mail at seoc.nsdma@gmail.com or sdma.nagaland@gmail.com. Meanwhile, Deputy Chief Minister and Minister in charge of Home, Y. Patton, assured to bring back Nagas stranded in Ukraine by getting in touch with Ministry of External Affairs and embassies in foreign countries. Patton further asked parents and relatives of those who may be stranded in Ukraine to send him details or through the office of Naga Students Federation. As war on Ukraine rages on, an over 5-kilometer-long deployment of the Russian forces advancing on Ukrainian capital Kyiv has been noticed. According to satellite images, shows a massive deployment of Russian forces advancing into Kyiv after entering the Ukrainian territory from the Belarusian border. Notably, the new satellite images show deployment of Russian ground forces, including tanks, marching towards Kyiv and are approximately 50 kilometers away from the Ukrainian capital. Meanwhile, the convoy was northeast of the Ukrainian city of Evacuation and included fuel, logistics and armored vehicles, including tanks, infantry, fighting vehicles and self-propelled artillery. Meanwhile, Ukrainian armed forces have stated that Kyiv is still under full control of Ukraine's military. The situation in Kyiv is under Ukrainian control, according to the Ukraine's armed forces, and notably Russia has reportedly issued Iskander missile system to attack Zhytomyr airport in Ukraine. The airstrikes were conducted from Belarus using Russian ballistic missile launchers. Over 4,500 troopers, including 150 tanks, over 700 armored vehicles, 60 fuel tanks, 1 BUK system for Grad systems and 26 helicopters were reportedly lost by the Russian personnel till February 27. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told to British Prime Minister Boris Johnson that in the next 24 hours will be crucial for the Russian invasion hit Ukraine. Notably, Ukrainian armed forces have been valiantly defending their country on 3 fronts from the overwhelming Russian invading forces. The General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces has stated that Russia has suffered significant losses during first 4 days of invasion of Ukraine. Interestingly, the Russian authorities reportedly for the first time have claimed that there have been casualties on the Russian side. According to the reports, one of the top generals of Russia was killed in the invasion. Thus far, the Russian forces have not been able to make any substantial gains during their invasion of Ukraine. India abstained from a procedural vote taken in the UN Security Council to call for a rare special emergency session of the UN General Assembly on Russia's aggression against Ukraine, even as New Delhi welcomed Moscow and Kyiv's decision to hold talks at the Belarus border. The resolution was adopted with 11 votes in favor of the General Assembly to meet on the crisis as soon as Monday. India, China and the UAE abstained while Russia voted against the resolution. The 15-nation Security Council met on Sunday afternoon to hold a vote on the emergency special session of the 193-member General Assembly on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. India's permanent representative to the UN ambassador T.S. Tirumurti showed regret over the worsening situation in Ukraine. However, he stated that India has no choice but to return to the path of diplomacy and dialogue, as India continued to be deeply concerned over the safety and security of the Indian nationalists in Ukraine. Hence, he stated that it is important to maintain uninterrupted and predictable movement of people, and stated that by taking everything into consideration, India decided to abstain.
Recent turn of developments in Ukraine. We urge that all efforts are made for the immediate cessation of violence and hostilities. Mr. President, India is deeply disturbed.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi deliberating to send 4 union ministers to neighboring countries of Ukraine to coordinate evacuations of the stranded Indians amid ongoing Russian military operations in Ukraine. Notably, Union Ministers Hardip Singh Puri, Jyotiraditya Scindia, Kiren Rijiju and General Retired V.K. Singh will travel to the neighboring countries of Ukraine to coordinate the evacuation mission and help students. Reportedly, these ministers will be going as special envoys of India. Meanwhile, upon his return from Uttar Pradesh on Sunday evening, the Prime Minister held a 2-hour-long meeting with Foreign Ministers S. Jaishankar, Foreign Secretary Harsh Shringla, Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba and a host of senior bureaucrats over the prevailing situation in Ukraine. Prime Minister Modi in the meeting reiterated that ensuring the safety of Indian students and evacuating them is the nation's top priority. It was also discussed to further enhance cooperation with neighboring countries of Ukraine to expedite the evacuation of the stranded Indians. Fifth Operation Ganga flight carrying 249 evacuated Indians landed in New Delhi from Romania on Monday morning. The passengers praised the Indian embassy for the support provided in Kyiv and Romania. However, there are over 16,000 Indian students still stranded in Ukraine. Reportedly, many have made desperate appeals for help, sharing photos and videos on social media from underground bunkers and bomb shelters, where they have been sheltering from Russian bombs and missiles. Meanwhile, the government of India has set up a dedicated Twitter handle to assist in the evacuation of Indians from Ukraine under Operation Ganga. Moreover, around 100 students from Gujarat reached Gandhinagar on Monday morning. The students landed from Ukraine in Mumbai and Delhi and were brought to Gujarat by buses. However, several Indian students fleeing Ukraine have alleged that they were harassed, beaten up by the Ukrainian guards at the Poland border and were not allowed to cross over. The students say that they were kept in an almost hostage-like situation in the freezing cold and denied food, water, shelter, or safe passage. They claimed that the border guards were abusing them because of India abstaining from a UNSC resolution against the Russian invasion of Ukraine. With hundreds of Indian students stranded in freezing temperatures at the Ukraine-Poland border, the government of India on Sunday said that it has identified an alternative train route from Uzhhorod, a city in western Ukraine, to the Hungarian capital of Budapest. The Slovakia cabinet on Sunday agreed to send Ukraine air defense systems and anti-tank missiles worth 4.5 million euros, and Defense Minister Jaroslav Nad stated that Prime Minister Eduard Heger and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had a conversation over the phone and discussed matters on how to help Ukraine during the ongoing crisis. An emergency session was conducted on Sunday and hence Cabinet decided to send Ukraine military equipment worth 4.5 million euros. U.S. President Joe Biden is set to hold a secure call with Washington's allies on Monday to discuss the situation in Ukraine and Western response measures. Notably, Western nations have increased sanctions pressure on Russia after it launched a military operation in Ukraine following requests for help from the People's Republic in Donbass. Meanwhile, the Russian Defense Ministry stated that the operation was targeting the military infrastructure of Ukraine only and that the civilian population was not in danger. Moscow further stated that it has no plans to occupy Ukraine and that the purpose of its operation is to save the civilian population from genocide and liberate the Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics. Russian and Kyiv delegations are also expected to hold talks in the Gomel region in Belarus at the Ukrainian border on Monday. Amidst the ongoing tensions between Moscow and Kyiv, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Sunday spoke with the UK President Boris Johnson and Polish President Andrzej Duda and agreed to further joint steps to counter the aggressor. And Zelensky on his Twitter tweeted about their conversation and described the coalition as the anti-war coalition. Zelensky also had a phone conversation with the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and discussed on strengthening Ukraine's defense capabilities. President of France also spoke to Ukrainian President and assured Spain's solidarity and support in the face of Putin's intolerant invasion. Amidst the ongoing military operations in Russia and Ukraine, Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad Sangma on Monday said that he has listed all Meghalaya students stuck in Ukraine, to which the center have promised to provide assistance. Amid Ukraine and Russia crisis, the Indian government has established numerous 24/7 control centers to assist in the evacuation of Indian nationals. And according to the Ministry of External Affairs, a dedicated Twitter account has been set up by Operation Ganga to assist Operation Ganga. Therefore, thousands of Indian nationals are being brought back via a bunch of flights from the crisis-hit region in the past few days. Polling for the first phase of Manipur Assembly elections began on Monday morning in the 38 constituencies spread across 5 districts. Meanwhile, State Election Commission informed that the voter turnout throughout the polling session touched 11.68% till 10 a.m. Kangpokpi with 15.78% and Bishnupur with 14.37% and Imphal West with 14.31% recorded the highest voter turnout, while Churachandpur recorded the lowest with 4.97%. A total of 173 candidates, including 15 males, are in the fray, and furthermore, Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh is contesting from Hengang constituency of Imphal East. Notably, Singh is said to be seeking the 5th term in Manipur. The Congress in Manipur has reportedly expelled its candidate from Wangoi constituency, and notably Wangoi constituency's candidate Salam Joy Singh was expelled just hours before the first phase of assembly elections. Salam Joy Singh has been expelled by the Congress party for allegedly supporting BJP candidate from Wangoi, O Lukhoi Singh. Reportedly, Salam Joy Singh was allegedly violating disciplinary rules. Notably, voting is underway at the Wangoi constituency in Imphal West district of Manipur. Voting is underway at 38 assembly constituencies in the first phase of Manipur elections, and electoral fate of as many as 173 candidates, including 15 women, will be locked on Monday. The Nagaland Football Coaches Association has organized a youth team trial for Rajasthan United FC for age groups under 18, under 13, under 15 and under 10 on 28 February at DDSC Stadium. Dimapur, the best ones will be recruited and will be placed in their academy under scholarships. These trials will also be held in Kohima on 1st March 2022 at the IG Stadium from 9 a.m. onwards. We have more insights. Come, let's have a look.
Nagaland TV someone lawas aji mon the DDS stadium de sa ro dia to the Rajasthan United FC takan bra trial team trial gurna takan ide under 18 under 15 under 13 or under 10 takan la itu ide football la trial la se tai vi de la organizer lo de hutilo itu la opode.
Yes, it's a blessing for Naga football. We don't get this opportunity like that every time. Someone comes and look at our boys. That's something which most of our organizations, I'm from the NFC, we try to do this. We hardly get one at the most in a year. So we're getting this after this COVID scare. This is very important for the development of football. You know, like today is a normal day, but for these kids out here who have turned up, they are reaching 200 is basically one of the most important days of their lives. Today they decide whether, yeah, I have a football dream or not. Today my dream breaks or my dream starts. It's big for them. I feel for them, many of you will be heartbroken, but I hope they understand that, yeah, football is like this. One day you play good, and when you're playing good and at the moment you're playing good, a coach recognizes you. Then you're made. But if you're a very good player and when the moment the coach's eyes are on you and you don't play good, that's it, you're a bad player. But actually you're a good player. So you have to understand that. You cannot be good 100% of the time. And a little bit of luck falls on your way if when you're good and you're showing your talent and at that sparkling moment a coach's eyes catches you. That's it. But doesn't mean that you're not good. So I hope the kids out here realize that, yeah, if you don't get selected today, it's over. No, it's not over. It's just the beginning.
Okay, so how many teams or how many players will be selected today?
There's no limit to that. Now the academy they want to expand. See, they have, right now they have 65 students in their academy. Now, most of the 65 are going slowly graduate away and they've crossed the age because of the 2 years gap of COVID. We didn't get to play, but they have crossed the age limit, so a lot of vacancies will be there. So if we are lucky, if they find very good players, 10, 15 we can go. We'll be lucky. Unlucky if none go, that's all. If 1 to 3 goes also, that's okay for us, because at least someone's.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi pays homage to former Prime Minister Morarji Desai on his 126th birth anniversary on Monday. Modi took down to Twitter and remarked that Desai is widely respected for his monumental contribution to the nation building. Notably, Desai was the first leader to head a non-Congress government at the center. Furthermore, Desai took part in the freedom struggle movement and served as the 4th Prime Minister of India between 1977 and 1979. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday extended National Science Day greetings to all scientists and science enthusiasts. Modi took down to Twitter and encouraged all to reaffirm commitment towards fulfilling collective scientific responsibility and leveraging the power of science for human progress. Notably, National Science Day is celebrated in India on February 28 each year to mark the discovery of the Raman effect by Indian physicist C.V. Raman. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath on Sunday, while addressing a public rally in Chauri Chaura, Gorakhpur, assured to provide government jobs, employment or self-employment opportunities to at least one person of every family if the Bharatiya Janata Party forms the government in Uttar Pradesh. On BJP's win in elections, at least one person in every family will be employed and the plan will be executed in the coming 5 years. Polling for the fifth phase of the ongoing assembly polls in Uttar Pradesh took place in Ayodhya, Sultanpur, Chitrakot, Pratapgarh, Kaushambi, Prayagraj, Baramaki, Bairaj, Saraswati, Gonda, Amethi and Raebareli. Polling for 4 phases of the 7-phase Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections has already concluded and the 5th phase is underway today. Polling for the remaining 2 phases will take place on March 3 and March 7. The counting of votes will take place on March 10. Tokyo Olympic silver medalist Ravi Dahiya on Sunday clinched the gold medal in the finals of the Yasar Dogu ranking series in Istanbul. Dahiya defeated Uzbekistan's Gulomjon Abdullayev 11-10 in a thrilling 61-kilogram final and came back with a gold medal. After trailing 8-10 against Abdullayev, Dahiya stood better in his last move and ended the bout on a happy note for himself. Apart from him, wrestler Deepak Punia defeated Kazakhstan's Elkan Asadov 7-1 in the bronze medal round of 92 kg, while Aman and Gyanendra also settled for bronze in 57 kg and 60 kg categories. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation has decided to extend the suspension of scheduled international commercial passengers services to and from India till further orders. However, this restriction shall not apply to international all-cargo operations and flights specifically approved by DGCA. Notably, international flights have been suspended in India since March 23, 2020 due to the coronavirus pandemic. However, special passenger flights have been functioning between India and around 40 countries since July 2020 under air bubble arrangements. India qualified the world record for most consecutive T20I wins with their 12th successive victory as they defeated Sri Lanka by 6 wickets in the third and final match in Dharamshala to make it a hat-trick of 3-0 sweeps at home. They are now tied with Afghanistan and Romania, and only the latter's streak is ongoing. Sri Lanka won the toss and chose to bat first and posted a target of 146 runs with a loss of 5 wickets. Man in Blue displayed yet another good performance as Shreyas Iyer scored his 3rd consecutive 50s. Shreyas Iyer scored 73 runs of 45 balls and was awarded the Man of the Match award. The Poland Football Association president has hit out at FIFA for allowing Russia to continue to compete in World Cup qualifying. The Poland Football Association has criticized FIFA for ruling that Russia will have to play their next matches without their flag or national anthem and in neutral territory under the name Football Union of Russia. The decision comes in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which began this week. Russia are scheduled to face Poland in a World Cup qualifying playoff match, initially in Moscow on March 24, with the winner going on to meet Czech Republic or Sweden. Liverpool won the Carabao Cup for a record 9th time at they edge out Chelsea 11-10 in an incredible penalty shootout after a 0-0 draw at Wembley on Sunday. The two heavyweights could not be separated in an enthralling showpiece full of free-flowing attacking football and chances, with 4 goals chalked off for offside. After 21 successful penalties, the final was decided when Chelsea substitute keeper Kepa Arrizabalaga ballooed his effort over the crossover. Victory for Liverpool marks the first domestic cup triumph for their German manager Jurgen Klopp. Liverpool won the penalty shootout to win the Carabao Cup, formerly known as the EFL Cup, after 10 years. Barcelona trash Athletic Bilbao 4-0 to remain in the La Liga top 4 for another week. Barca faced a weekend opponent but stayed professional and played solid football for 90 minutes and scored 4 excellent goals to pick up 3 more points and continue to look strong in the race for a Champions League spot. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang scored the opening goal for Barcelona in the 37th minute. Ousmane Dembele, Luke de Jong and Memphis Depay scored for Barcelona in the second half of the game. A dramatic last-gasp goal from Fabian Ruiz earned Napoli a 2-1 win at Lazio on Sunday, a victory that sent Luciano Spalletti's team top of Series A. Lorenzo Insigne and Fabian Ruiz scored for Napoli. Last gasp Ruiz strike sends Napoli top of a Series A. Thank you, viewers of Nagaland TV. That's all from Nagaland TV News. Now, for more updates, keep watching Nagaland TV. Sob manalagawas.